Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Socially Awkward Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan DePaul. And welcome again. First of all, I want to say, before we get into the whole topic of this podcast, thank you. We're at 300 subscribers, so that's a big deal. So thank you very much. And we just hit 300 subscribers, so appreciate you guys. Thanks for the followings. That's awesome. And yeah, so if you're watching this for the first time, welcome. If you're not, hey, and if you are watching for the first time, whatever you're doing, feel free to subscribe and like and share this out. So, but because this one is going to be a special episode with everything that's going on right now. This week, this is May, so usually what really happens a lot in May is Mother's Day. It's known for that one, and yeah, this weekend will be Mother's Day. May 14th, I believe, is Mother's Day. Is it May 14th, Mother's Day? I need to check the. Yeah, the Sunday. So May 14th is the Mother's Day, 2023. If you're watching this, but I have a special guest. I will be bringing her on shortly, and because of this, and we'll be talking about mothers. What is basically Motherhood Unfiltered. We're going to be navigating the social awkward moments of parenting and going from there from a mother's point of view and a mother's side, because there's always two sides. But yes, and we all know that parenting, as being a child at one point and parenting now, can be awkward. So, and mothers are always in the trenches. So we're going to be celebrating them and talking about this with that. So with that, we're going to not to hold them back anymore. I'm going to introduce this lovely lady, this woman that I hold dear in my heart and has a lot of knowledge and wisdom about being a mother. And I've seen it firsthand because one, she is my mother. So be kind. This is my mother, and I'm going to introduce her. Her name, this is Kimberly and Morris Bradley, or Bradley still?
It's Kimberly Bradley, but Morris.
Okay.
Of course,
all right. So, no.
Of
Kimberly Bradley. So I mean, I know you have a hyphen because of business and all that stuff like that. But yeah. So yes, guys, this is my mom. I know a lot of people like, that's not your mother. I mean, I get that every time we're together. No, that's not your mother. That's your sister, because I'm the one who looks old. So, and that's fine. That's fine. It's okay. That's a compliment to her. But yes, this is my mother, and I thought it'll be just basically makes sense to have my own mother on for a Mother's Day special podcast episode, and talking about Mother's Day. So, hi, Mom. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Ryan. How are you?
I'm good. So don't be nervous. I don't know if this is your first time on a podcast. I know it's your first time on my podcast. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be talking about just being a mother, like your perspective on being a mother. I don't have any experience on being a mother. So, I mean, I've been raised by a mother. I will never have that experience, but someone who I saw was in the trenches 24/7. I want to get your perspective, your raw and uncut perspective. So don't worry about that. The things that are socially awkward to talk about, that's why this is a socially awkward podcast. This is where you can talk about that. And just even now with your current adventures with motherhood too, as well. We'll get more into that one too. But yeah, so yeah. So with that, we're going to dive right into this. Okay. And so my first thing is, I know you probably got plenty of stories from motherhood, what's going on. So let's start off with like your first, like when you first became a mother, like when, like, I mean, granted, I'm your first child, firstborn. So that's 41 years ago, almost 42 years ago, because birthday is next month. Um, but when like yeah, like that moment you became a mother. How was that?
It was it was an awakening, that's for sure. It was a lot, for me, because first of all, I was a teenage mom, so I gave birth to you right before turning 17 years old. I was 16, had no clue what was going on, what I'm doing. It was interesting, but we got through it. It was it was definitely something that most people are not, even women who are in their 20s, 30s, we're not quite prepared for it. Motherhood is, thinking about it and one thing and dreaming about it. But when you're actually in it, that moment, it's nothing like you really thought it would be. And especially being young. But thank God you had your grandparents who was very helpful to me and through the process, which allowed me to still have you at 16, still continued school, never dropped out of school, went through the process, even being pregnant with you in high school. I remember the kids used to laugh and go, "Oh, why do you have that coat covering yourself up? You're just hiding." No, it's cold outside. But even pregnant and all, I went to school, books and backpack and all, and we got through it, graduated and everything. So it worked out.
Okay, I mean, I'm glad you said that. Like that was a great. It did work out. I mean, we're still here,
We're still here.
and we survived, and that's
Yeah.
cool. Interesting. You mentioned going to school and everything, and kids was teaching about your coat and everything. So something I want to talk about was, I guess, basically how do you navigate through the mom shaming, especially as a young, a teenage mother, because it was different back then, right?
Yeah, it probably still, it may be more acceptable. It was a lot of shame bashing, and that's okay. It puts, makes your skin a little tough. Um, but it was interesting, having getting pregnant. I think I was in 11th grade, and in those days, you could not be allowed to stay at the school because you would be a liability. So you had to be transferred into a school that was more of a private school, strictly for pregnant moms,
Oh
teenage
wow.
moms. Yeah. And so it was interesting that I was transferred over, went through the process. But while I was in school, yeah, it was a lot of, shame bashing and all. But, it comes with the territory. They're going to talk about you no matter what. And that we got through it. I went to the other school, finished out my 11th grade. Right after that, I had you. In September, went right into the 12th grade and missed without missing a beat and got through it. And it was interesting because I was always pointing at, oh, that's the girl who's a mommy. Yeah, I am. And it was interesting. We got through the process. I did everything I wanted to do. I was able to be in drama, do plays and all that. I was still able to participate in basketball, track and field. That was so great about your grandparents because they didn't restrict me, but one thing about it is once I got through the schoolwork and got through the activities, I had to come right back home and see about you. And it worked out. And it was really proud for me when I graduated on my senior year and you were right there at the end of the other stairs when I came across stage. It was like, yeah, I got my diploma and there's my little one. We're a duo. We're gonna do it. So nothing can stop us. We're all the way up. It's just, obstacles comes and choices you make may not, favor you thinking your best way, but you make the best of it. And we still did okay.
Okay. Okay. Good. Cool. Cool. We did. Also introduced on the way. We're getting there after. Like, it was later on. My sister, but
Yeah. Almost
but
what, 4 years?
yeah,
Is it
about
4 year
yeah.
difference?
I think we're
Yeah.
4 years apart. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Um,
21 when I got
I
my
was
last.
thinking about actually having her on her, but it was like last minute. I was like, she got the new baby and everything. And my sister just had another baby, her third one. So we was like, I was like, I won't bother her. I know she's dealing with the kids and everything like that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so yeah, okay, cool, cool. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, you still did. I mean, see, a lot of people will probably drop out and take the easy way out, but you knocked it out. And that's what's up. That's very respectful, and thank you. Appreciate that because that actually set a nice role model for me too as well. Just knowing that, and so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Um, and yeah, so So something else that I want to bring up was just like the as a parent, I've had these conversations, and being your son, I know we've had these conversations,
Mhm.
these awkward conversations that we have to go through as a parent. So as a mother, especially as a mother raising a boy,
Uh-huh.
being your first child, um, how was that for you talking? I mean, granted, Papa was there and everything like that. I mean, but he was working and stuff like that, and he was doing what he had to do. But having those awkward conversations, we had. I mean, it wasn't just like one or two. I mean, it was a few. So going from like where the baby talk, the where babies come from, to like sex and everything like that, death, homeless. I mean, shit. We had to go even talk about the whole racism and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
like, how was that experience for you? Like, and what I would say, what would be one of the most? It's a two-part question. How was those experiences for you as a mother, and what would be the one conversation that stood out the most for you?
Hmm. There really wasn't any awkward moment. I think because we were both young. Here I was, a 17-year-old mom, when you're in your first year. I still was learning about who I was, and so I think I kind of looked at it, which how I was taught by my mom and dad was that, first of all, I am your mother. And then secondly, I'm like a sibling. I could be your brother or sister, kind of. And then third, I'll be your friend, your best friend. And the reason I used to always say that to you is because I wanted you to know, first and foremost, I'm your parent, I'm your mom. And then, of course, whatever you couldn't feel comfortable to talk to your mom about, maybe you would share with your sibling. And whatever you wasn't comfortable with sharing with your sibling, you would share with your best friend. And because I kept that kind of environment for you, it was easy for you to always communicate. And that's one thing we always was good about, me and you, is that even as mother, son, was that you could talk to me and you would about any and everything. It wasn't, there was nothing off the table. And I was pretty much direct about it and never felt comfortable because I feel like it was a process for both of us as we were learning together. And so I think the most awkward or uncomfortable was really when I saw the pain in your face when you were first, had to deal with the idea of someone judging your character by the color of your skin. I think that was the hardest because it was heartbreaking for you. And I saw you cried a lot, and there was nothing I could do about it, but just comfort you and let you know that this is part of life, but it's okay. It doesn't determine who you are as a person. It's their issue.
Was that the was it at the in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Yeah, outside of
Your
the
first
house.
love.
It wasn't my first love. I mean, that's
Was
the
it
thing. It
your
wasn't.
first, your infatuation,
It
maybe?
was no. I was just talking to somebody about that the other day. I was like, it wasn't my first love. It was that was my first experience with somebody judge me off of my skin, like racism, and that's why I heard. Like, 'cause I never experienced it before. I'm like, what the hell? This like what? This makes no sense.
Mhm.
So it was just it hit hard. So yeah, I remember that sucked.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, and as a parent, I can understand too, how that hurts as a parent,
yeah.
because like you want to protect and
Mhm.
make sure your kid doesn't have to go through that. So okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy. I was just
it
talking about to
was.
somebody about that.
It's
Wow.
amazing when you think like all the things. Yeah, you just roll with the punches and keep it moving. And always remember that someone else's reactions or behavior has nothing to do with who you are and what you represent. As long as you be the best version of who you can be, nothing else matters.
No, you're right about that. You're absolutely right about that. So, okay, cool, cool, cool. All right. So another thing. So I don't remember doing this, but I know you going through this right now sometimes. Like handling, like as a mother, handling, and I've seen this, and I've helped mothers deal with this in public, but public tantrums and like, I don't. Hey, maybe I blocked it out, but have you ever dealt with that with me and Portia?
No,
No.
I didn't have that problem with you and Portia. No, you guys were surprisingly very mellow children. You were definitely mellow, but you got a little rambunctious in middle school. I mean, elementary school for a moment. Portia, I would say, was the real mildest, but No, you guys weren't. So I really never had the problems of you guys throwing tantrums and things in the stores, or really acting out in that degree. And I think you guys knew your mom always had that look, and she always kind of made you guys feel like I was on the borderline of half crazy and half all about love. So you guys knew not to cross the boundaries. It's like you guys knew you didn't want the consequences. So it's like, oh, let me just not go there. And so you guys didn't. I think the worst thing I think was you guys would be in the store and then be like, "Can I have?" And I'd be like, "No, you can't." And they'd be like, "But why?" It was always, "But why?" Because I said so. But why? Other than that, no. You guys were pretty mellow. I always used to remember you. You was a kid who was kind of, you know what? It's funny if you pay attention to your children, you can kind of see the character who they're going to be very on at an early age. Like you were fascinated with computers
Okay.
very early on, like 6 years old and all. We would I'd go into Macy's to go pay my bill, and you'd be over looking at the computer. That's when the computers were the new thing, and you'd be looking and just fascinated with them, you know. And here you are, you're a geek still about all computer and everything around it and everything. It just amazed to me when I look at your character then, and I see it was already instilled in you of where you would go, your likes and dislikes. I saw early on as a kid, you
Okay.
know. And it's just funny when I laugh now when I talk to you in portion, I go, it's amazing how who you become. I saw in you, in the choices you made and the way that you looked at things, it was already there. So a lot of times when parents talk about children are taught certain things or who they're, we have this big issue with, children identity and all. But early on, if you're a parent, you can see there's that care is in them. And if you pay attention and you just nurture it for what it is, especially if it's not in a way harming, it's who they are. And I saw those things, certain things that you guys in your characteristics, I saw early on that you guys had no way of knowing. You weren't taught anything. It's just who your makeup was. It was what you were made. Your makeup was consisted of. And it's just funny when I think about that as rare as a parent now, especially my second time around. Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, I would say, well, actually, that's a good question, but I'll ask you right now.
Hmm.
As for like in the kid stage, what was the most hardest part for you as a mother?
Um, the hardest part. That's a good question. You know what? I don't think it was really a hard. You don't have time. I don't think I never really had time to think. I had nothing to compare it to if it was hard or not. You just do it. It's just do it. I remember growing up and I was working and you guys were coming of age and I remember certain jobs I would get. And I remember people, when I would say I'm a single parent, they would be like, "Oh my God, how do you do it?" And these were usually women who were married. And I go, "What do you mean how you do it? You just do it." You can't compare hard because you don't know any other way. You just do what you know you need to do.
Hmm.
And so I can't really say there was anything hard. I think for me, I felt guilty in a sense that I had put you guys in a situation where you didn't have two parents in a home. And I always wondered, was that going to truly affect you? Um, I think that was a hard part. Um, but I can't really say it was hard. It just it was what it was, and I didn't know hard versus easy. You don't know. You just do what you got to do. And when I go back and I look back now, I think it was easier now than it is now. you know,
Wow.
it's a whole lot different. I think it's because of the age and menopause too. So, no, I can't really say it was hard. I just think that if one thing I used to think, wish that I had more financial stability to, I wanted to be able to do more things for you, give you guys a little bit more experiences
Mm.
that we could have done. Like travel, I would have loved to maybe have to travel, have you guys travel more, but that wasn't in the cards at the time. So yeah, but no, I can't really say it was hard. It was what it was. I didn't have anything to compare it to. So how would I say it's hard?
Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. All right. So, good answer. Okay. Well, that is the answer. So, when it came to us growing up, and like obviously me being the oldest, hitting the teenage years, teenage drama.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, what was challenging the challenges of parents, especially as a young parent, because you were still young. You were like in your 20s or
Yeah.
mid
What's
20s
that?
or late 20s or early
I was
30s,
in
right?
my late 20s when you were in high school.
See,
Yeah.
okay,
So I was like
so
moving into the 30s. Yeah. And it
yeah,
was an
so
adjustment because you I don't know what's the proper way to say that, especially on platform like
you
this.
say it, just say it.
You was smelling, you was getting a whiff of your testosterone, and I'm a young man, and trying to balance that because you think you're doing the right thing, and it's just like you start to become a little bit more rebellious. Now, you was never disrespectful. One thing I have to say, you was not disrespectful in any manner, but me overprotective. Even I never treated you or Portia any different. So I don't treat my boys any different than my girls. My children are treated the same. And I was just as protective over you. If you disappeared for an hour, I was ready to call, and I would call the police. He went to pick up a burger. It's been an hour and a half,
Oh,
and
you
he's not
talking about
back.
that?
Somebody took him. Oh my god! And they're standing at my door, and here comes Ryan walking up, like, huh? I'm like, where have you been?
So I want to tell that story right here. So yeah, so that's yeah, my mom, she ordered a burger from Nations of where we lived, and said, "Hey Ryan, can you go pick it up?" I had got my license, everything like that, so I could drive. And I was like, "Yeah." And I went out, and I was like, "Oh, this is perfect time for me to go out and um, do a little slip and slide." And so I went out and I called this girl. I was like, "Hey, I'm about to, I have to go drop this off. I'm gonna pick something up for my mom. What you doing?" And so did my thing. Didn't realize. Well, I went and checked on the burger first, and it wasn't done. It's not ready yet because they were packed. And I was like, "All right, cool." So I come back. I guess it took too long, so my mom was freaking out. So yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
ain't
it
trying to
didn't
get all the
take 3 hours
details.
to get a burger.
I didn't know it was 3 hours, but hey, I was a young guy, and so doing my thing, let it be. But yeah, so that was yeah, I get that. Though, yeah, okay, all right, all right.
Yeah, it was those kind of little things that you started doing, and I understand that you needed some space, but I was just like, I would rather, like, for me is like, oh mom, can I go spend a night over my friend's house or go do things like that? I was so protective of you guys, but I'd be like, you know what? No, they can come here. That way I can know who you're socializing. So it was okay when you would have these game nights where, yeah, everybody bring these computers in the garage, and y'all
Talking
was
about
up all night, and I could be upstairs here. I'm just like, but you know what? I know where he's at, and I know who he's around. And so it was the same for your sister and them. They had played basketball, and on Friday night after the game, all the whole squad was laying up in the living room. All had to roll out little sleeping bags because I knew who you are, and I knew who you were around. So my house was kind of the hangout, I guess, for everybody.
yeah, no, yeah, it was, yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, the land parties, that was fun. Well, that was when I was in college though.
Was it college?
Yeah, I had started college at Heald, and I met some friends. Yeah,
Ah, that was
I
that
was
was
in the
you
garage.
and Nick were hanging out though, and
Yeah,
no, yeah, well, 12th grade was kind of a rough period though too. It was when you came back, because
yeah, 12th grade. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
12th
when I
grade
got
is
a
when
little
it got
taste, my first
crazy.
little taste.
That's when you really was acting out. I'm just like, dude, I know you like girls, but come on, wake up.
That's when I had my first love, puppy
Yeah,
love shit. And so yeah, but it is what it's okay. We all learn, we grow.
yes, we do.
Okay, cool, cool. So here's a good one. The balancing act for you though. So with you being a single mother, um, you probably had, you already talked about the socially awkward situations where people like, how do you do that and all that stuff like that.
Mhm.
But um, and this, I guess this would go out for those single mothers out there right now. How would you? This can go. This is going to be a not a loaded question, but multi-layered questions because this is a good one. So, how did you balance, because you did a good job in keeping away from me and Portia about like, dating and stuff like that, and going out and having fun and doing the adult stuff that parents do.
How did I balance that?
Yeah,
Well, it was easy because if I wanted to have adult time, hang out, usually I would kind of strategize it. So Fridays were I worked a job Monday through Friday, and depends on it was different phase of our life, but um, Fridays were usually at our job. I worked in the medical field, so we wore scrubs and all those things. And but Friday it was called casual, so you got to wear casual business attire. So for me, I would wear my suits to work. I worked the front office at the time, and so after work, it would be happy hours. So I would go for happy hours for an hour or two or three and socialize, and then I would come home. So that was kind of my escape, my outlet for a minute. I when I would want to get out. And then as far as just like dating was really interesting because I did not whatever I was not going to be the one to have men up in my house later around my kids. That was not the example I wanted to set. So for me, I was really cautious about that. So you guys, if I had a friend come over, they would come over and sit at the dining table and sit down and have a conversation and maybe something to eat and chill. But it was never, it was nothing beyond that was going to be a place. So just balancing. I didn't want to subject my children to that kind of behavior. So that was strategically set, because it's just there was I really believe I needed to set an example, and I had seen friends who were in and out of relationships constantly, and their kids calling the men's uncle or daddy, and the next week
Oh,
there's somebody else, and I was just like, what are you doing? This is not good for the kids. So I just knew, watching other people, that is not what I was planning on portraying for my kids, and I didn't, and it was hard. There were times I'd be like, I'm adult. I wanted companionship, but it was just a way it needed to be done so that the kids are not affected, because you guys are young and you're sponges, and things really can matter that you may not think is so minute, but it may be major to your kids because they're watching and they're observing.
mm-hmm.
So I had to really balance that, to make sure that everything was always appropriate, you know. And so I think that was really kind of challenge, but we got it done. I hope so.
No, no. I mean, it rubbed off on me. No, because I actually took that into consideration when I was dating and with Isaiah and everything like that. I wasn't letting nobody because I know the main reason you didn't have people come around in and out my life. I'm like, no, I'm not having somebody in and out my life and meet my kid if I'm not serious. Like if it's not gonna be a serious, like, hey, I'm with you, this committed relationship, you're not meeting my kid, so there's no point in that. So yeah, I mean that is something that I learned from you,
Yeah,
and installed. It was
it's
installed, but
hard. It's
I was
definitely hard
watching.
because everybody wants companionship, and we get lonely. And I yearned. I wanted a father figure in the home with you too, and so you could have that balance of two. But I wasn't willing to sacrifice just for that, and that process through it all, because I didn't get married until Portia turned 18.
Mm,
And so for me, it was like, I had to do some reevaluating, and I had to learn that, like, you know what, it's okay to be alone. And I think your grandmother used to always say to me, how are you going to love someone if you don't love yourself? And I used to go, oh, I love myself. I don't know what you're talking about. I love myself. But it was much more deeper, because when you really truly know and love yourself, you value yourself in a certain way. You know your true worth. And you learn to love yourself enough that it's okay to be by yourself if need be, if necessary. And when I really got that aha moment, like, oh, now I get it. And so I didn't have to feel like I was in this desperate state to
yeah.
have someone that was supposed to complete me or complete us. When I realized, no, we are enough. And until the time arrives that someone values us for who our worth is as this unit, then you need to be by yourself, and you need to be okay going to concerts alone sometimes, or because that's your mama thing. I love jazz. Going to a movie by yourself, or getting on a plane and going to Hawaii by yourself. Just enjoying yourself, and loving yourself enough that you're worthy of it. And I think that played a lot into the woman I truly became, even at this stage of my life. That I don't let any one thing define who I am. I define who I am. And when I can learn to love myself enough to endure being by myself, then everything else can play out. And I think that what even drew my husband to me. He saw that in me. So yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Um, so with being a mother and parenting, how different is it from like I know you say you don't treat either one of us different, but how different was it raising a boy compared to raising a girl?
God, you know what, Ryan? Maybe I was missing out or I was just blind to it. I didn't see a difference. I mean, you guys are different, that is, but even as rearing a kid, it wasn't. There were rules, there were things that you followed. You guys followed the same rules, the same guidelines. It was love given to both of you. You guys had different interests. Um, I made sure we catered to those different interests. You liked the computers. We got you into baseball. Baseball wasn't when you really didn't love baseball, but you stuck it out. MC Hammer team, you did okay. So we played around with a few things that I could afford to see what you liked and didn't like. I mean, other than those type of things, there really wasn't a difference in rearing. Now I realized at later on that I was lacking was as a mother, as much as I thought I was teaching you, there were things that I obviously could not teach you that only a man probably could because of the experience, and I didn't know, you know. And other than that, I can't honestly say that there was a difference in
Okay.
rearing, unless I just don't remember. I just remember there were rules, there were guidelines, there were things that you guys got to do, and I didn't treat anyone any different that I can remember. If I did, you can remind me, but
I'm trying to think, dude. I wouldn't say you hit me to a higher standard because it was more of a because I was the oldest. That was the only thing. It's like, hey, you gotta help out here. And once I get to that age, like you gotta help. Like not even the adult was like, but no, I mean,
yeah, I think when we got to when you was in high school, like, because I was working a lot.
yeah,
I was working a lot. I mean, we had just I was grateful and blessed that we bought our first home as a single mom. There's hope for you ladies. Listen to that. The people who kept saying it would never happen, you don't make enough money. Uh, when the guys are dating and they find out you have kids and I wouldn't dare date a woman with kids. Let me tell you, does all that just fluff. Don't listen to it. But I was told that I would never be able to own my first home by myself as a single mom. I was only making $14 an hour. And I was told, oh, that'll never happen. But it happened. I didn't have the best credit. I didn't have, $100,000 in the bank. I think I had about 3,000 in the savings. And that was just happened to be enough to put down. So don't listen to the outside stuff. And matter of fact, I always say don't go in between your ears because that's the worst place to go unless you go with something which is affirmations, good thoughts, because sometimes your own thoughts will throw you off key because of other things you heard from other people. But um, we were blessed. I bought my first townhouse. It was a 3-bedroom house, and we did okay. It was nice. It was clean. It was. I think when we look back, we were really blessed.
yeah,
I mean, compared to a lot of people and with some of your friends where they lived and all, we were doing really darn good. You had swimming pool available, tennis court. I mean, we were blessed. We were
yeah,
truly
yeah.
blessed. So to know that, we got through that process on a home. I feel like your mom lost her train of thought. What was the question?
Don't worry.
That's what happens when you get old.
It's
Okay.
okay. It's okay. So
I don't know. What was the question again? I didn't went on a tangent. Sorry, y'all.
it's you answered the question, but it's okay. It's all good. You was telling your experience, and that's fine. But and
Oh
we was
yeah, I
talking
was
about
saying about your responsibility. So
yeah,
yeah, because I had to work a lot, I worked a lot. So I was always on call. I had 2 jobs. I was working for the sheriff department doing as a phlebotomist. So I'd be called at night to go out to different Contra Costa police stations to draw blood on people with DUIs. I did that at night. During the day, I worked as a supervisor for laboratories. So I was commuting as far as Santa Cruz and Monterey. and all through the Bay Area, all the way back up towards Santa Rosa,
Oh
Napa.
wow.
And that was a lot. I was on the road a lot, so I would be leaving at sometimes 4:30 in the morning to get to these locations, and then I would come home after 5 o'clock, which is like a 2 hour commute, 2.5 hour, and I would be pulling up in my driveway sometimes at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So you had to be the adult there to oversee your sisters and siblings. Why I needed you to be responsible because I did put that part up on you while I was working. You
Yeah.
did a good job. I think I know y'all was fighting too sometimes when I heard, but you did a
Well,
good
I
job.
didn't have time to fight with them at
And
that
we
age.
taught you how to you cooked. You was able to. I remember one guy I dated for a second, and I invited him over, and he saw it when he came over. You were in there cooking spaghettis and frying chicken. He was going, "You have a son that's know how to cook." I'm like, "Yeah, it's not like it was foreign." He was just like, "Wow." I'm like, it was just norm. My kids knew how to cook and fend for themselves, and yeah, you were in there getting the spaghettis and the chicken fried, and yeah, you had some responsibilities.
I
Yeah.
dabble. I dabble a bit. It's okay. All right. Cool. Cool. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I know you. All right. So compared to then and now, because I know that you're parenting again right now, a little one,
Yes.
and night and day. With everything that's changed back then and everything that's changed now, as a mother right now, what's would you say advice you would give to those out there and yeah, unfiltered, unraw, I mean, raw and unfiltered.
Parenting then versus now, um I don't know. I used to hear women who come out, they go and they create their career first and have children later in life. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. I'm 50, I'll be 59 August 1st, and Mina is 6, Mina will be 7 in June as well. And I don't know how women have done it moving into the later part of your life, because when menopause kick in, it's a whole different type of style of parenting because your emotions are all off keel. Your patience is not quite what it used to be. It's just, some people say it's different for them. It's just not for me. So I'm having to learn how to. It's funny. I'm going through. We do therapy and all that for the process of rearing, and it sounds like I have to learn how to reparent all over again. I'm like, me? I did this before. I did okay on that rodeo, but no, you have to read because the kids are so different now. They're
Hmm.
more wiser. Um, they're more challenging. So you have to learn new skill sets of how to parent, like timeout. You guys didn't get no timeout. I gave you the look. If you didn't follow the look, we knew what was coming next. Now it's all about
Hassle.
timeout and you know all that other stuff, and I'm just like, this is all new for me. So it has been a big adjustment. There are more days I cry now than I ever did cry being a single parent with 2 kids. it,
Wow.
it's harder. um like right now we're thinking about how we're going to do her school. Are we going to let her go to school again next year, which will be second grade, or do I do homeschooling? And I am really struggling. Like, I don't want to do homeschooling because some of the schoolwork that comes now, I scratch my head and go, I don't even know how to do this. So how am I going to homeschool somebody? But I have to keep thinking out what's best for her. And she's a kid that really doesn't. She's a different kind of kid from you guys. Number one, she's already been. Um, Again, she's been stated that she's gifted. She's very bright for her age, but her emotional aspects of maturity is not there. And so that's where we keep coming to troubles. And I'm like, how do we do this? She doesn't like school. She doesn't care for school unless she's going to socialize and have fun. She don't want nothing to do. How do you deal with a kid at 6 that don't want to go to school? And they're very clear about it. I don't want to be at school, and you're forcing them. So we're working through these things, hoping that the maturity level will get there, that she understands her purpose there. It's not all long term. It's just, so we're going. It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know how anyone does it at this age, rearing kids. don't. I don't recommend it myself because they say this is supposed to be start being our golden years. Because in another 10 years, I'll be 70, and I'm just like, ain't golden nothing golden about it. If you got to be running to the school and all this other stuff, I'm just like, I had my thing was, okay, I felt ashamed that I had my kids early on. I was a single mom, da da da. But I did pretty well, set myself up. And now it's like, okay, now my kids are grown and out though, and I'm still young. So yeah, it turned out okay. So I can now travel the world and do all the things I wanted to do. And it's like, no, sorry. So it's an adjustment. It's just, it's a big adjustment, and you just got to have things in place to be able to balance it all. It just requires a balancing act, just figuring out ways, and it takes time, give and take of some things that may work, not work, may work, may not work. But you just, it's a balancing. It's just got to be balanced. And if you can keep hope and balance, somebody's coming through the door. Um, it may work. It may
Okay.
work.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. We're gonna end up wrapping this up anyway. So and yeah, for the viewers, I wasn't the perfect child. I mean, I wasn't bad. I mean, we made it easy for her, but but I was like, we had our ups and downs. Nothing like too crazy, but yeah. Um, but okay, cool, cool, cool. So
No, you was not perfect, but neither was I. But we got through it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
you're just in a phase where you got stubborn. You kind of like, I'm a grown man. Hold up, mom. Chill out. I don't need you to. I got this. Just I got this. And I'm
we
like,
all
no,
go through it.
no, no, no. That I'm oh no, no. And you like, no, mom. I got this. You
Yeah,
don't want to
I
let
mean,
go.
every kid goes through it. You get to that point, it's like, I know everything. I'm cool, and we don't. So,
Right.
but no, yeah, okay, cool, cool. So this has been a fun one. This has been very, I should say, enlightening. But hopefully, some mothers out there will see this and to understand. I know we didn't really talk about like the stuff that comes in with babies and like the vomit and all that stuff like that, the diapers and everything like that. Oh
Oh
my
man,
gosh,
you talking about the well? Who was that when we were? Well, because when we were, I was single. We slept in the same room in the same bed. Young
yeah,
on. Who was that puked?
that's me.
You pu- you
when
puked, right?
I'm Portia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
after a couple
God.
times I was like, I got
Yeah.
sick. I had the flu or
Yeah.
something like
Now his
that.
sister is 4 years younger than him, and he was very sick. And of course, hey, hold on. Oh, here comes my sister right here. Here go Portia. But and Ryan was really sick, and of course he just sat up in the bed and just vomit, and it went all over Portia, and she was young. I think Portia was maybe three, maybe 3 or 4. And she
Maybe.
just sat up and started crying. I'm like, oh, mommy, Ryan boo booed on me. But we did what we did. We got up, changed the sheets, got Ryan comfortable, and we just went back to sleep. Yeah, we're on a podcast with Ryan. You want to come say hi?
What's up, sis?
Hi, what's
This
up?
is our Mother's Day podcast. I was gonna
Mother's
actually
Day podcast.
hit you up,
Oh,
but I was like, I figured that she was busy. So, but my bad. Shoot. So, hey, real fast.
go over here.
Any advice for mothers?
Mother's Day. New mother.
That's my niece,
There's
my
a little
newest
one.
niece, a cutie.
He has a question for you. Yeah.
Any advice for new mothers or like because you have this is your third one now.
Yes.
Oops, baby.
Don't say
Surprise,
that. This
baby.
is recorded.
Well, you got the oldest is what, 12?
Yeah, 12, 10, and newborn.
Gotcha. Okay. So, any advice?
I just say patience. Things don't go according to a parenting book. So that's one thing you have to realize. You can read all the books in the world. You can take advice from people, but nothing is cookie cutter as far as being a mom or being a parent. You just kind of have to go with how the flow is of you and your child, and your intuitions. It's good to have people to support you, but just be aware that things won't always go according to how you may plan it. Unfortunately, newborns don't work that way.
No, nothing.
Yeah, a support system is if you have the opportunity to have a good support system. plays, it can really make a big difference. But a lot of people don't have that. But don't give up. Don't give up.
Right.
Some good advice. Some good advice. Okay, we're going to close this down. So thank you for being on the podcast. And yeah, we have to do this some more. So this is fun.
Yeah.
So guys, if you're watching this the live, hey, go ahead and let us know what you thought about it. And if you're a mother watching this, or if it's a replay, go ahead and comment some of your experiences as being a mother. If you're a new mother, comment some things that you had questions with. Hey, who knows? Maybe I'll do a follow up with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, because just know that, like they say, support system is good, but you're not alone because everyone goes to different challenges when it comes to parenting and when it comes to motherhood. It's everything's going to be different. Not all kids are the same, so
Mm-mm.
you're not alone. You'll have those awkward moments that you don't know what to do, but hey, just know that you're appreciated by somebody, whether it's a child, whether it's somebody that you may not even know. But if you're not a mother, if you're make sure you show your appreciation to the woman that you're in your life that is a mother, or your own mother if they're still around like that. So with that, or the ones who actually was like a mother to you, So yeah. So with that, we're gonna wrap this up, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there if you're seeing this later. And make sure you hug and kiss your mom because they won't be around always, but you gotta show them the appreciation.
That's
So
it.
with that, we're gonna wrap this up. Mom, thank you. I love
You
you. I'll see you probably tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, Saturday or Sunday, because tomorrow's Friday. I gotta pick up Sabine.
Yeah.
But yeah. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And with
Thank
that,
you.
we're gonna happy Mother's Day,
Happy
Portia.
Mother's Day to everyone.
All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap this up. And take care. And yeah. So all right, go ahead and knock this off.